Picture this. The year is 2015. I was 24 years old, fresh out of university, eager to prove myself in the cutthroat world of finance. I had landed a coveted entry-level position at a mid-sized investment firm in Frankfurt. The office was all gleaming glass and brushed steel, a monument to ambition and wealth. And at the top of that monument sat Herr Director Schmidt, my boss. Herr Schmidt was everything I aspired to be, and everything I secretly feared. He was impeccably dressed in bespoke suits, his hair always perfectly coiffed, his eyes sharp and assessing. He exuded power, a quiet, confident dominance that both intimidated and fascinated me. He was in his late 40s, married with 2 children, a pillar of the community, or so everyone believed. From day one, Herr Schmidt took a peculiar interest in my career. He would linger by my desk, offering unsolicited advice, always making sure to touch my shoulder or my arm as he spoke. At first, I dismissed it as mentorship, a senior executive taking a young protégé under his wing. I was flattered even. He saw something in me, I reasoned, potential that others had overlooked. Then came the invitations. Late nights at the office, ostensibly to finalize important deals. Herr Schmidt would always insist on ordering in dinner, expensive sushi or prime steaks, accompanied by equally expensive bottles of wine. The conversation would always start with work, but slowly, insidiously, it would veer into more personal territory. He would ask about my family, my dreams, my relationships. I was naive, perhaps, but I genuinely believed that he was just trying to get to know me better. I was eager to please, to impress him, to prove that I was worthy of his attention. So I answered his questions honestly, perhaps too honestly. I revealed my insecurities, my ambitions, my vulnerabilities. One evening, after one of these late-night work sessions, Herr Schmidt casually invited me to a business dinner the following week. Just a few clients, nothing too formal, he said, his eyes lingering on mine a moment longer than necessary. A chance for you to see how things are done at this level. I accepted, of course. I was thrilled. This was it, I thought, my big break. An opportunity to network with important people, to prove my worth to the firm, to solidify my position as Herr Schmidt's protégé. The restaurant he chose was discreet, tucked away on a quiet side street in the West End district. It was dimly lit, with plush velvet seating and hushed tones. The kind of place where secrets are whispered and deals are made. When I arrived, Herr Schmidt was already there, seated at a secluded table. "Ah, da bist du ja," he said, rising to greet me. His smile was warm, almost too warm. There were no other clients, just Herr Schmidt and me. I felt a flicker of unease, a prickle of suspicion. "I thought you said there would be clients," I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. He waved his hand dismissively. "They canceled at the last minute. Unfortunate, but these things happen. We can still have a productive evening, just the 2 of us." He ordered a bottle of vintage Riesling, and we began to talk. Again, the conversation started with work, but it quickly drifted into more personal territory. He asked about my love life, or rather the lack thereof. I confessed that I was single, too focused on my career to pursue a serious relationship. He leaned forward, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Manchmal muss man im Leben auch Kompromisse eingehen," he said. Karriere ist nicht alles. Man braucht auch jemanden, mit dem man das Leben teilen kann. I nodded, agreeing with him, but something felt off. The way he was looking at me, the way he was speaking, it was different than before. There was a possessiveness in his gaze, a hint of something else, something unspoken. As the evening progressed and the wine flowed, Herr Schmidt became increasingly flirtatious. He complimented my appearance, my intelligence, my ambition. He told me that I had a bright future, that I was destined for great things. He hinted that he could help me get there if I played my cards right. My discomfort grew with each passing minute. I tried to steer the conversation back to work, but he kept bringing it back to me, to my personal life, to my supposed potential. I felt trapped, cornered, like a deer caught in headlights. Then he reached across the table and took my hand. His touch was surprisingly gentle, but it sent a jolt of electricity through me. I froze, unsure of what to do. Du bist ein sehr attraktiver junger Mann, he said, his voice barely a whisper. Und sehr talentiert. Ich glaube, wir könnten sehr gut zusammenarbeiten. The implication was clear. He wasn't talking about working together on a business deal. He was talking about something else. I pulled my hand away, my heart pounding in my chest. Herr Schmidt, ich glaube, ich verstehe Sie nicht, I stammered. He chuckled, a low, knowing sound. Doch, das tust du. Du bist nur schüchtern. He tried to take my hand again, but I pulled away, standing up from the table. Ich glaube, ich muss jetzt gehen, I said, my voice trembling. He stood up as well, blocking my path. Was ist los? Bist du beleidigt? Ich dachte, du wärst intelligenter als das. Ich bin nicht beleidigt, I said, trying to maintain my composure. Ich bin nur nicht interessiert. His expression hardened. The mask of charm slipped away, revealing the cold, calculating man beneath. Pass auf, was du sagst, he said, his voice low and menacing. Ich habe viel für dich getan. Ich könnte alles wieder wegnehmen. I stared at him, shocked by his blatant threat. Das ist Erpressung, I said. He shrugged. Nenn es wie du willst. Die Wahrheit ist, ich habe die Macht hier. Und du bist nur ein kleiner Fisch in einem großen Tauch. I knew he was right. He had the power. He could ruin my career, my reputation, my life. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't compromise my integrity, my values, my very self. Ich lasse mich nicht erpressen, I said, my voice surprisingly firm. He laughed again, a harsh, cruel sound. Du wirst es bereuen, he said. I turned and walked out of the restaurant, leaving him standing there alone. The next few weeks were hell. Herr Schmidt made my life a living nightmare. He assigned me to the most tedious and undesirable tasks. He criticized my work relentlessly, finding fault with everything I did. He isolated me from my colleagues, spreading rumors and whispering poison in their ears. I considered quitting, but I couldn't afford to. I had bills to pay, student loans to repay. I was trapped. Then, one day, I received an anonymous email. It contained a file labeled Herr Schmidt. Inside were copies of emails, documents, and photographs that revealed a pattern of behavior similar to what I had experienced. Other young men, junior employees, who had been subjected to his advances, his manipulation, his threats. I was shocked, but also strangely relieved. I wasn't alone. I wasn't crazy. This had happened before. I took the information to the Human Resources Department. They launched an investigation. Herr Schmidt denied everything, of course. He claimed that I was a disgruntled employee trying to sabotage his career. But the evidence was overwhelming. The other young men came forward, one by one, to corroborate my story. The board of directors had no choice but to fire him. It wasn't easy. It was a painful, stressful, and emotionally draining experience. But I survived. And in the end, justice prevailed. Herr Schmidt's career was ruined. His reputation was shattered. He lost everything. I learned a valuable lesson during that time. A lesson about power, about abuse, about the importance of standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. I left the firm a few months later. I found a better job, a